a singles case with 4 totally brand new diecasts. This phenomenon has not happened since 2014 with Case L that included Interview Francesco, Marcello and Marco, Jonathan Shifko, and Henry Motissi. And even then, Francesco was just kind of a change of expression. These 4 here are 4 brand new characters. Some of them are even brand new models. So I am super excited to have these, and there are even 4 other very cool re-releases that we'll be getting to in this video as well. So just to start off here, I bought all of the cars you see in this video off Amazon for $4 each. And if you'd like to try and buy them yourselves, the links for them will be down in the description below, but please note that they are not always in stock. Since these are brand new, they're very desirable and a lot of people will be buying them, so they come in stock for very short amount of time. So I was fortunate enough to actually buy the ones I needed. I was very lucky. It usually does not happen. So let's get started here and taking a look at the cards of each of them, and then we'll move on to taking a look at them loose. So of course we have here the first Autobahn Society vehicle named Sedanya Oskanian. Now this is a female character, just so you guys know, and as you can see it's in the Dynaco Daydream series along with the Daredevil Garage app logo. I really like the art for him there as well, with the background, looks really cool. Now on the back here, we could see Dynaco Showgirl number 1, Transforming Lightning McQueen, Lightning Stormlane McQueen, and the upcoming 2-pack of Heather Dreyfing and Michelle Motoretta. Those are the other Autobahn Society cars, and those will actually be released very soon, within the next few weeks or so. The description for the series reads, Rookie racer Lightning McQueen daydreams about the glitz and glamour Dynaco sponsorship will bring him. So a very good series. We are getting quite a few new cars out of here. We got the entire 3 Autobahn Society cars and a new McQueen. Now let's move on to a brand new car from Cars 2, Justin Partson from the Paris Parts Market series, which is a new series for 2016. He is number 4 out of 6 in the series, and by the way, I forgot to mention the Autobahn Society car here is 3 out of 9 in the series. So still pretty, I guess you could say, early in the series. On the back here, nothing really too special. We just see the previously released Mcmissile and Tom Bay, along with Justin Partson himself. And we just see a nice picture of Finn and Holly there in the parts market. The description for the series reads, Finn, Mcmissile, and Holly Schiff will chase a suspicious-looking character through the crowded aisles of a Paris parts market. Now, that's not really true because Tom Bay was their helper. He wasn't really a suspicious-looking car, so I don't really know where they got that from. Now let's move on to another brand new Cars 2 character, Stefan Gremsky. A very creative name because they're incorporating his model, of course, Gremlin, into the last name there. I like it. He's in the brand new series for 2016, Oil Rig Getaway, and he is number 4 out of 8. So a very cool one. This is the first Gremlin that comes with a torch. I'm very excited to see how the visor there moves. On the back here, we actually see a new deluxe coming out called Mcmissile with Breather, which is basically the upgraded and correct version of Submarine Mcmissile. Vladimir Trunkov was in 2016 Case B. Of course, we have Stefan Gremsky right here, and Tubbs Pacer will be in a future case. And there's just a cool picture of Finn. The description for the series reads, the Lemons think they've trapped Finn Mcmissile on an oil rig, but the secret agent plummets into the ocean for a dramatic escape. So pretty cool. And finally, for the new cars, in this case, we have Break Boyd from Cars 1 in the LA Speedway series, another new series for 2016. He is number 6 out of 11, so a lot of cars will be in this case. On the back here, we see Mario Andretti, Timothy Two-Stroke, who have already been released, Patti, which is in this case, and a brand new release of Brad Windmiller. I believe that's how you would pronounce it, so he's a Piston Cup fan there. The description for the series reads, the tiebreaker race at the LA International Speedway will determine who is the new Piston Cup champion. So a pretty cool series. This series will include quite a few new cars for the line. So now let's look at the 4 re-releases of this case. Here we have the 4 notable re-releases in the case, And now I'd also like to mention that Rust-Eze is in this case as well, but since he has been released so many times in the past, I decided not to buy an extra one and mainly focus on these 4 right here because these are some pretty awesome re-releases. So let's get started here with Galloping Geargrinder, a Cars 2 character that was only released in 2012. He is in the number 95 Return series, which is a new series for the year. He is number 2 out of 7. And now one thing I just wanted to point out here is that if you can kind of see on the side of him there on the art, it says GG number 1. And now for some reason, Mattel did not put that decal on the car right there. As you can see, it's just a black door without the decal. So I just like to point that out while we have the art handy. On the back here, we can see a few other releases, one of them being Mater with Balloon. Pretty cool, that's a new release right there. We also have Otis, who was released before, Galloping Geargrinder, and Red. There's a pretty cool shot of Mater and McQueen. And the description for the series reads, after months of burning rubber on the track, Lightning McQueen can't wait to return to Radiator Springs and hang out with his old friends. So a pretty good series as well for the year. We're getting quite a few new releases, as well as some good re-releases. Next up, we have Patti in the LA Speedway series, and this is her first ever re-release. She was only released in 2009, so it's been a while since she has ever really been out. And she is number 2 out of 11 in the series. And now one thing I never understood about Patti is why she has a dent on her door in the art. This was also on the 2009 version. I really have no idea because on the diecast, she does not have a dent. So that's kind of odd. On the back here, it's basically the same as Break Boyd, except for the fact that instead of showing Patti, it shows Break Boyd. So there's nothing else really to show here because we've already gone over it. Next up, we have Fred. I was very happy to get this one as well. He's a pretty cool car, and the last time he's been released as a single was in 2008. So we got a nice big art of him right there. I think that's great art. He's in the Rust-Eze Racing series, which was previously in 2013, but then disappeared for 2 years and now is back. He is number 1 out of 12. He definitely really is the main representative of the series here. If you think of Rust-Eze, you basically think of Fred. Now on the back here, it shows Andy Vaporlock in a pretty cool prototype color there. And now I already reviewed him a week or so ago. And there we have Donna Pitts, which is a re-release, the Rusty and Dusty Rust-Eze 2-pack, which I should be reviewing in a few months or so. And Lightning McQueen with Sign, who is in 2016 KC. And there you have a picture of Rusty and Dusty. The description for the series reads, after the Dynaco 400, Lightning McQueen meets and greets his excited Rust-Eze fans wanting to be just like him. So pretty cool series as well. We're going to get a lot of Rusty cars from the series. And last but definitely not least, we have Eugene Carbureski, aka Tank Goat, number 36. He's in the Piston Cup series there, and is number 11 out of 14. So he's one of the last ones of the series, but definitely not one of the last ones to be released. On the back here, we have an incorrect picture and an incorrect description, as this features the Los Angeles race, and none of these Piston Cup racers, none of these 3, not even Tanko, participated in the race. It was just the King Chick Hicks and Lightning McQueen, as it says here, competes in a tiebreaker race to win the Piston Cup Championship. So it really should be like a picture of the Motor Speedway of the South and a description that is according to that. But nonetheless, a pretty cool series here. I do want to pick up Billy Oil Changer and Chuck Armstrong, which is in 2016 KC. And now one thing that's pretty cool about Chuck here is that that's actually a prototype of him. His actual release is not that model. It actually ended up being the Nitro body design. And we also have James Clean here, and another mistake. As you can see, he has a black grill right there, and that is not present on the diecast. And we just have Chick Hicks, and he's been released every single year, so nothing too special about him. So I'll be right back, and we'll start taking a look at these loot. Let's start with the re-releases. Now for those of you who are unaware, these 4 cars you see in front of you are the older versions, not the newer versions I showed in the beginning of the video. I am keeping all of those in the package as I already have all the characters from their previous releases. So let's start here with Patti. Now one thing I really like about Patti is that she is her own unique model. There aren't any other cars alike to her at all. However, I feel like something is off with her. I don't really think she's that accurate to the movie. I feel like it's a little bit too flat going from the hood to the eyes to the roof. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of hard to describe to you guys. I don't know if it's just me or if this is actually not accurate to the movie. I'm not really sure. But other than that, she's a very cool model. I like her design a lot. Just a very unique sedan, if you know what I'm saying. Now on the back here, she has the taillights and the license plate right here, which reads TJ7-75. Now Patti is Mario Andretti's assistant in the movie, and they barely had any screen time. They basically just appeared at the LA Speedway talking to Marco Axelbender and Fred. And so Patti is not Mario Andretti's wife or anything, just his assistant. And I'm very happy that they released Mario and Patti both this year. Mario's in 2016 KC, if you guys don't know, because Mario has had a lot of releases in the past and Patti has only had one. So again, I'm very happy that they released both this year. So that's basically all for Patti. Now let's move on to Fred. Now Fred has gotten a lot of variations over the past few years, and his most recent release was in the 2013 2-pack with Lightning McQueen with Sign, and that is the same version that we have right here. He's had versions with bumper stickers and a version with a fallen bumper, but today we're just going to mainly focus on the regular version of Fred without any accessories. Now when Fred was originally released in 2007, early 2008, he was this larger version right here. Now towards the end of 2008, Mattel resized him to the smaller version that you see on the left, and they kept with that version and made all of his variations this smaller version right here. Now I feel like both are kind of inaccurate. I feel like a size a little bit more to the size here of Otis would be accurate, because I feel like this Fred is a little bit too big, but the Fred on the left is just way too small. So I feel like Otis, or maybe a little bit smaller than Otis, would actually be accurate to the movie. But besides that, Fred's a really cool car. He had several appearances, one in the Rust-Eze tent, and then at the LA Speedway, and then again at the end of the movie with some bumper stickers on. Now I really like that Fred's texture. He's got this really nice textured feel of the rust to him. And on the back here, he doesn't have a license plate or anything. And one very unique thing about Fred is that his license plate is actually on the front here, and it just spells out Fred, which is very cool, and he just kind of doesn't realize that in the movie because he thinks everybody knows his name, but actually they're just reading the license plate on his bumper there. So they're basically the same here, the bigger version, the smaller version. You could just fit a lot more rust detail on the bigger version. Obviously there's a lot more surface area there, but there's not really any difference in decals or anything like that. So what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer the smaller version of Fred or the larger version? I actually kind of like the larger version, although I feel like both are just inaccurate. Next up, we have Galloping Geargrinder. Now, when Galloping Geargrinder originally came out in 2012, he was pretty rare because that year was absolutely horrible for distribution. I have no idea why, it just was. Now, Galloping Geargrinder appeared in the Second Cars movie at the beginning, where Lightning McQueen and Mater are kind of doing a bunch of fun activities, and they take off their tires, get on rail tracks, and go into a tunnel, but then they come out screaming because they think there's a train coming after them, when really it was just this Galloping Geargrinder right here, just kind of pretending to be a train. So he's kind of like a fool, not really fool, but like foolish, joking around type of character, even though we don't really know anything about him. Now, he has quite a few accessories on him. He's got this lantern right here that you could pull off the hook. Now in the package, all these accessories come loose, they're not attached, so you would have to take the lantern here and put it on this little hole. These are kind of like soft, flexible rubber, and also the pickaxe and the shovel come detached, and you could easily just take them off as well. Pretty nicely detailed. I'm really happy that they include these accessories on him. Very nice indeed. So you could just like put one in and put the other one in. They both kind of keep each other stabilized in there. It's actually kind of hard to get them in actually, but there we go. And then on the back we just see some gas cans or some gas jugs right there, and some nice wooden paneling right here. I actually really like this character. Very nicely detailed, except for the fact that the GG number 1 is not on the side here. Now on the bottom here, it's actually not regular wheels, and it's kind of hard to tell, but these are actually obviously, I mean, it's kind of obvious that it would be, but these are like rail wheels. I don't really know how to describe them, but yeah, these would go on a rail track. Now it'd be really cool if there was some rail track that Galloping Geargrinder actually fit on, but I don't have anything like that, even though there may actually be something like that exists. Oh, I just lost my shovel. So Galloping Geargrinder is pretty cool. Here the horns actually were used to scare off Mater and McQueen and the light there, I assume, and that's what gave the illusion that it was more of a larger, okay, these things aren't going to stay in, but that's okay, they could stay out for now. And now let's take a look here at Eugene Carbureski, aka Tank Coat number 36. Now a few months ago I did a review of him and his Patti, so Team Tank Coat, so if you want to check the review of that, the link will be down in the description below. Now this is one of my favorite racers of all time. I really like the pink color, and I actually bought one off eBay in the 2016 packaging before I got it on Amazon, so a little bit bummed about that I kind of spent a little bit more than I had to, but it's okay. Now on his hood here it says Tank Coat soothes upset tank, so it's something I assume help your stomach, something that is like, I don't really know, it's like, do you guys know what Tums are? Those kind of like help your stomach if you're having a stomach ache or something like that. Now he has these nice pink rims, really like that. Some sponsors on the side, just like every other racer does. Number 36, we got the Tank Coat logo again, another Tank Coat logo, and Tank Coat logo on the back. Now I really love his color on here along with the designs. You got these kind of like white patterns along with the pink, but it just kind of really blends in. Now there was supposed to be a hauler released of Tank Coat, but unfortunately it never got released. We just saw some prototype images. Now the one difference between this version here and the new 2016 version is that the eyelids are flat instead of being raised off the paint with depth there. As you can see, there's a little bit of depth, but on the new version it's just completely flat, and it's also a little bit more darker pink. I feel like the pink on his eyelids are a little bit more similar to this pink on the spoiler here, if you guys know what I'm saying here. That's really the only difference that I could spot. So that's really all for the re-releases of this case. Alright, let's move on to the new and exciting diecast in this case. So here we have Sedanya Oskanian, also known as the Audubon Society Vehicle number 1. Now one thing I wanted to mention to you guys about her name that you may not have caught on to is that her name's obviously Sedanya, and Sedan is a part of her first name because she's obviously a sedan. Now Mattel does that a lot with their characters. For example, Stefan Gremsky, Grem is in the last name, but I did not find it as noticeable with Sedanya as I did the others, so I wanted to point it out to you guys. Now I reviewed Sedanya a few weeks ago as I received her from China, so if you want to see the full-fledged review of her, you can check the description below. As for this video, I'll just be briefly showing her and explaining the basics about her. So she's this gray sedan that appeared in the first Cars movie during McQueen's daydream, obviously about having a Danico sponsorship, and was in the room where McQueen has the bling bling tires, and there's Golden Mia and Tia there. There's a whole bunch of sedans, and only 3 of them actually became popular, and that's the 3 that are getting released this year. And her license plate reads 36194. And she is the exact same model here as Valerie V, or I really shouldn't say exact, but the only difference is that Valerie has a mouth plate right here. As you can see, there's that little crack in between the body and the mouth there, whereas Sedanya is one whole piece. So that's really cool, and that makes Sedanya feel a lot heavier than Valerie. There's like a pretty big difference in weight there. They have different license plates, which is good. Mattel kind of tends to put the same license plate on similar models. So that's basically all for Sedanya. A very cool release. We've been waiting for the Audubon Society for so long now, and it's a dream finally coming true. Next up, we have Break Boyd, who is also a very heavy model. I don't know what it is about these sedans, but they all seem to be very heavy and well made, which is very good. I applaud Mattel for doing that. Now, Break Boyd appeared in the LA Speedway Stadium stands just before the Jets flew over, which were Marco and Stubop and the one unnamed one. And he is actually the father of Coriander Wytrack. Yes, it's kind of odd, but it is true. The kind of code name, I guess you could say, or basically it's the prototype name of this car was Dad. And the car to the right of Coriander Wytrack in the movie is also getting released this year, and her code name is Mom. So looks like we have Break Boyd and Mrs. Boyd, whatever her name will be, and they're the parents of Coriander Wytrack, which I found that pretty cool actually. And it's actually pretty nice because if you see in the movie, her mom is red and her dad here is obviously blue. And what do you get when you mix red and blue? You get purple. So it actually does kind of make sense. And that's pretty cool. I like that Mattel, or actually that's Pixar and Disney's doing, that they kind of made that connection in the movie. Now I really like the rims of Break here. They just kind of unique and odd. I've never really seen them before. They're just kind of solid there. And now on the back here, he's got a nice license plate that reads RGX33. Very cool. He's got a very small spoiler here, just a little wing, which is very similar to Corey Turbulence here. I was going to say something else, but Corey Turbulence, and they're kind of similar, except for the fact that the little dip down right here is not present on Break. It's just flat across there, but they both have kind of that small spoiler that's not really raised above the car too much. But Break's definitely a lot bigger than Corey. Now Break again is a whole unique model. I just want to show a bunch of other sedans to compare him to, because there are quite a few similar ones. Again, we got that small spoiler right there. Except with Break, it's actually not a part of the body like the other ones I've been showing are. It's actually a plastic piece added on. So I guess that's an improvement. Don't really know what to really say about that. I think that is an improvement actually, because it's harder to make the inserts with the plastic piece instead of just molding on a spoiler here. So I think that's pretty good. But yeah, he has his own unique model. As you can see, all these sedans here are different from him. So I'm very happy he got a release. I'm definitely pretty glad about that. He actually made an appearance in the movie too, and has some sort of symbolicness to Coriander as well. He's got a pretty cool triangle grill right there as well. So that's basically all for Break Boyd. I cannot wait for Mrs. Boyd. She should be in like a future case, just like a few more months or so. And next up we have Stefan Gremsky. A lemon, obviously, is a gremlin. Very cool as well. I cannot really decide what my favorite will be out of these cases here, or these cars in the case. There's a lot of good new releases, and I'll try to decide before the video ends. But of course, here we have Stefan Gremsky, who is the third lemon with a torch and all the gear on. And it's the first one, actually, to come with a movable visor. As you can see, his visor moves up and it moves down. It actually goes back quite a bit. As you can see, it goes back all the way like that, and you can move it down. So that's a pretty cool feature about him. Now, on the back here, he's got his petroleum tanks or whatever those are. I don't really know what. And they are actually not like, they can't come out. Whereas with Acer here, you can actually pull them out. As you can see right there. I don't want to pull them out all the way, but you can pull them out. And that's the same with PD as well. You could pull these out. So there's a few differences between these and with the whole gear and stuff. Now, we will be getting two other lemons so far with a torch. There's a Pacer coming with a torch, and there's also another gremlin, so that'll be pretty cool. I love how detailed this torch here looks. Very, very cool. It's a little bit different from the Pacer's one as well, which makes it just kind of more unique. As you can see, there's not really that gold tip on the end there, and instead of being black, it's actually gray. So very nice. I like that a lot. I also really like that they have the yellow door, just kind of a mix, because obviously he's a lemon gremlin to be specific, and he's not going to be perfect. He has missing parts, and apparently most likely is that he could not get a green door, so he had to get a yellow one. I also really like the light green speckled spots on him here. Very nice. I'm not really sure about this side here. I feel like they could have put some rust or dirt on this side here, because there's absolutely nothing. It's just kind of like a clean side there. Now you may be wondering, where in the world did Stefan Gremsky appear in the movie? And he actually appeared obviously at the oil rig getaway, just as he was about to surround Mcmissile and push him off the helicopter carrier into the ocean, where Mcmissile then jumped out and became hydrofoil Mcmissile. So we're actually getting quite a few releases from that scene there, which is very good, very good. Always love new cars, always do. Now to conclude here, we have Justin Partson, who I think this one will be my favorite, guys. I really am liking this one a lot here. Again, a brand new model, so that means 2 brand new models from these 4 new ones right here. He is kind of similar to Luigi, actually, which is kind of odd. You don't really find too many cars similar to the main characters, but he really is. He's just kind of like a bigger version of him. Now, looking at the card art and looking at him where he appeared in the movie, I feel like he should be a little bit more round. If you guys know what I'm saying, he's very straight going back, but I feel like he should be a little bit more rounded on the edges, just because in the movie and on the card art, that's the way he looks. But I'm happy with the way the diecast is. I just feel like it'd be a little bit more accurate if it was a little bit like rounded. He's got some cool gray dirt on the sides here. Always nice. He appeared in the Paris Parts Market. Kind of poor, I'm assuming, because he's selling at the Paris Parts Market there. And he also appeared alongside the flatbed truck that will be getting a release this year as well. He's got one side view mirror, the other one's missing, and I really love the expression that Mattel gave him here. It's very nice, lots of personality in there. It's very cool. On the back here, we can see his license plate that reads 31EGHF94. Not sure if that has any significance, but it may or it may not. Also some more gray detailing on the bottom there, and he's got this kind of blue backing and just kind of a two-tone colored car. I also really like his rims there, and they are different. If you look at this one, it has those dots, but if you look at the front one, there aren't any dots. But the one over here has dots, and the one over here does not, so it's just kind of like a diagonal ones are the similar ones. So a very cool car. I really like this guy a lot. Brown base, you don't see that too often. And I just also wanted to show this GT right here, as they're kind of similar in size and shape, but they are obviously quite a bit different in other ways. So that is really all for the new cars in 2016 Case D. So out of all these 8 cars in the case, which one is your favorite? I've made a decision, and I think my favorite here is Justin Partson. I just love the expression and love the detailing that Mattel gave him. A very cool car, and I'm looking forward to more from the Paris Parts Market scene in the future. We are getting a Luwick-like car that should be released in the next few months. So I'll see you guys on Thursday for a suggestion video, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Bye now.